My name is Lauren Walsh. I'm 31 years old. And I didn't realize my relationship was already over the night my boyfriend told me not to come home. Not during a fight, not after an argument, not with anger. Just a text. I need the apartment tonight. Don't come home. Don't ask why. I remember staring at my phone for a full minute, rereading the message like the words might rearrange themselves into something reasonable if I gave them enough time. We'd been together 2 years, moved in together 8 months ago. Technically, it was my apartment, my name on the lease, my credit, my deposit. But he'd been staying there almost every night long before we made it official, so it felt like a shared life, like momentum, like commitment. The apartment had a smart lock system, something I insisted on after a break-in happened 2 floors down last year. It logged every entry, time-stamped, unforgiving, transparent. That Monday evening, around 6:00 p.m., I was still at work finishing reports when his message came through. I need the apartment tonight. I replied, okay, when should I come back? Not sure. Maybe stay at Emma's. I'll text you. What's going on? Just trust me. Don't come home. Don't ask why. That was the part that made my stomach drop. Not can I have the apartment. Not, I'll explain later. Just don't come home. I called Emma, my best friend, and asked if I could crash at her place. She said yes immediately. Didn't even ask questions, which somehow made everything feel worse. By the time I got there, she took one look at my face and handed me a glass of wine. What happened? He told me not to come home, I said, to my own apartment. Emma frowned. That's not normal. No, I agreed. It really isn't. I tried to distract myself, tried to eat, tried to tell myself I was being dramatic. But around 8:30 p.m., curiosity, or maybe self-preservation, won. I opened the Smart Lock app. At 7:47 p.m., he entered the apartment. Normal. At 8:02 p.m., there was another entry. Guest access. My heart started pounding. That means he let someone in, Emma said quietly, leaning over my shoulder. It could be anyone, I said automatically. A friend, family. Emma didn't respond. I opened the building's directory app, scrolled through recent guest entries at the main door. At 7:58 p.m., a name appeared. Danielle Morrison. I didn't recognize it. I Googled her, found a LinkedIn profile. Finance, 36, married. Her profile picture showed a woman in a tailored blazer, confident smile, wedding ring visible on her left hand. My hands started shaking. She was in my apartment, with my boyfriend. I looked at the clock. They were there right now. I think I know what's happening, Emma said softly. I swallowed hard. I took screenshots of the entry logs, photographed my lease, my name, my address. Then I opened Instagram. Ryan's profile was public. Photos of soccer games, birthday cakes, a small business he ran on the side. He looked normal, kind. Someone who didn't deserve this. I typed the message slowly. Hi, Ryan. You don't know me, but I think you need to see this. When I hit send at 9:23 p.m., my chest felt hollow. There was no going back. Whatever happened next, it was already in motion. The message sat there, sent, delivered. For 8 minutes, nothing happened. Emma turned on the TV, some reality show playing in the background, but neither of us were really watching it. I kept my phone face up on the coffee table, like if I stared at it hard enough, I could will the future to reveal itself faster. At 9:31 p.m., a small notification appeared. Seen. Ryan had read the message. My throat tightened. I imagined him sitting somewhere familiar, maybe on his couch, maybe in bed, scrolling, expecting nothing more dramatic than a friend's update or a customer inquiry for his small business. Instead, he'd opened a message that cracked his life cleanly in half. She read it, I said. Emma exhaled slowly. Okay, that's something. Minutes passed, then more. No response, no explosion, no denial. Just silence. By 10:45 p.m., my nerves felt like exposed wires. I checked my messages with my boyfriend. Still nothing. No explanation, no check-in, just absence. Then, at 10:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. Ryan, where's the apartment? I stared at the screen, my heart hammering. I typed back the address, the building name, the apartment number. A pause. Then, I'm on my way. Thank you for telling me. Emma looked up sharply. He's coming? Yeah, I said, right now. Are you going to go back? I shook my head. No, this isn't mine to step into anymore. That was the truth. Whatever happened next belonged to them. At 11:03 p.m., my phone chimed again. Not a message this time, but a security alert from the building app. Main entrance accessed. Emma and I exchanged a look. Could be anyone, she said, though neither of us believed that. 3 minutes later, another alert came through. Unusual noise detected, floor 6. Emma grabbed her laptop. Hold on. She still had access to the building's public hallway cameras, from when she'd dated someone there the year before. She pulled up the feed, fingers moving fast. And then we saw him. Ryan. He was standing in front of my apartment door, shoulders squared, phone in his hand like he'd walked straight out of another life and into this one without stopping to breathe. He raised his hand and knocked, hard, again and again. The door opened. My boyfriend stepped into view. Even through the grainy camera feed, I saw his posture shift. Annoyance flickered across his face first, then recognition, then panic. Ryan pushed past my boyfriend without hesitation. The door swung wide open. We couldn't hear the words, but we didn't need to. The tone carried through the screen. Rage, disbelief, devastation colliding all at once. 30 seconds later, Danielle Morrison burst out of my apartment. She was pulling on her blazer as she ran, heels in her hands, hair disheveled. She didn't look like the confident professional from her LinkedIn photo anymore. She looked like a woman caught exactly where she never thought she'd be seen. Ryan followed her into the hallway, shouting. He hurled something after her. Her heels bounced off the floor as she sprinted toward the elevator. She didn't look back. Ryan turned slowly, his focus snapping back to my boyfriend. Even without audio, I could see Ryan say something that made my boyfriend physically recoil. He stepped backward, hands raised, like he was trying to shield himself from words that had already landed. Then he walked away. The entire confrontation lasted maybe 3 minutes. But in that time, doors along the hallway began opening. Neighbors peered out. Whispers started. Someone stepped fully into the hall, phone raised. My apartment door stayed open the entire time. Jesus, Emma whispered. My phone buzzed. A text from my boyfriend. Where are you? I didn't respond. Another one came through seconds later. Lauren, please, I can't explain. It's not what you think. Then another. Please answer me. I blocked his number. At 11:34 p.m., Ryan messaged me again. Thank you. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I'm sorry this happened to you too. I stared at the screen, a strange mix of relief and grief twisting in my chest. I'm sorry I had to be the one to tell you. I typed back. Don't be, he replied. Better to know. He's dead to me. Divorce lawyer first thing tomorrow. I set my phone down. The truth had arrived at the door. And nothing, absolutely nothing, would ever be the same again. I didn't sleep at Emma's. I lay on her couch, staring at the ceiling, replaying the hallway footage in my head like it was a scene I'd watched in a theater, except the theater was my life and the stage was my home. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my apartment door hanging open. My space, my couch, my bed. My boyfriend had invited a married woman into it like my trust was just furniture. At some point, after 3:00 a.m., Emma fell asleep in her room. I stayed awake, phone in my hand, waiting for a message I'd already decided I wasn't going to read. Morning came gray and too bright. I went to work because I didn't know what else to do. I sat at my desk, answered emails, nodded at coworkers, and pretended my body wasn't full of static. At 10:02 a.m., my phone rang. It was the building manager. Ms. Walsh, this is Jordan from the front office. We need to talk about last night's disturbance. My stomach dropped. I wasn't there, I said quickly. I stayed somewhere else. I know, he replied, voice careful. But it was your apartment. Several tenants complained about noise and commotion, and your door was left open. I sat up straighter. Left open? Yes, it's still open, actually. We need you to come secure it. My throat went dry. Is he there? No, Jordan said. No one is inside now, but Ms. Walsh, I should warn you, there appears to be property damage. Property damage. Those two words were so clean and calm compared to what they actually meant. I'm coming, I said. I left work without explaining much. Just told my supervisor it was an emergency. My hands shook the entire drive. Jordan met me in the lobby. He looked uncomfortable in that way people do when they're about to walk you into your own humiliation. Ms. Walsh, he said, I have to be honest, it's bad. How bad? I asked, though I already knew. He didn't answer. He just led me to the elevator. The ride to the 6th floor felt longer than it ever had. When the doors opened, I saw it immediately. My apartment door, wide open, gaping like a mouth that had been screaming all night. I stepped closer, heart pounding. Jordan hovered behind me, hands clasped, like he wanted to keep distance from the disaster. I pushed the door wider and stopped cold. The apartment was trashed. Not messy, not accidental. Destroyed. Picture frames smashed against the wall like someone had thrown them with hate. Couch cushions slashed open, stuffing spilling out like white guts. My TV had a crack running diagonally across the screen, as if it had been punched. Kitchen drawers were dumped out, plates shattered across the tile. My bookshelf toppled. It looked like rage made physical. "What happened?" I whispered. Jordan swallowed. "The cameras show Ryan Morrison was only here a few minutes last night. The confrontation happened around 11. I turned slowly, still trying to breathe. "So this wasn't her," I said. "No," he replied. "The damage happened after 2 a.m. Your boyfriend was seen returning alone. He was crying, yelling, throwing things. He left around 4 a.m. and hasn't come back." My chest tightened. "So after he got caught, after he brought humiliation into my hallway, he came back and punished the apartment. Punished me." I stepped carefully over broken glass and walked deeper into the wreckage. My laptop smashed. My gaming console cracked, tossed against the wall like it meant nothing. Every dish I owned had been dropped or thrown. But the worst was the bedroom. The mattress was slashed. My clothes were ripped off hangers and shredded. Perfume bottles shattered, the air thick with the sweet, sickening smell of expensive scent mixed with destruction. My closet looked like a tornado had targeted it out of spite. I stood there, hands pressed to my mouth, eyes burning. 2 years. 2 years of my life reduced to this. Jordan's voice was soft behind me. "If you want to press charges." "I want him out," I said, voice shaking. "I want his stuff gone. I want the locks changed today." Jordan nodded quickly. "We can do that. And several neighbors want to talk to you." Of course they did. The building had witnessed my relationship die in public. Now they wanted the aftermath. I forced myself to nod. Fine. I spent that entire Tuesday cleaning. Emma came after work and didn't say much at first. She just grabbed trash bags and gloves like we were preparing for a storm cleanup. But neighbors kept appearing, some with sympathy, some with curiosity thinly disguised as concern. Mrs. Chen from 4B knocked with a sad look and held up her phone. "I have footage," she said softly. "My doorbell camera. It caught everything." I swallowed. "Everything?" She nodded. Later, when I watched it, it was clearer than the hallway feed. Ryan arriving, pounding on the door. My boyfriend opening it, wearing one of my shirts, face shifting from smug to terrified. Danielle running out half-dressed. Ryan's fury. Then, hours later, my boyfriend returning alone. He moved through the apartment like a storm with a body, throwing, smashing, sobbing, and screaming, like he was the victim of something unfair. At one point, he screamed a sentence I'll never forget. "You ruined everything." Not "I ruined everything." Not "I'm sorry." "You ruined everything." Emma paused the video and looked at me. "He's insane," she said quietly. I didn't answer, because the truth was I already knew. Wednesday morning, he tried to come back, but the locks had been changed. Jordan called me to let me know he'd shown up in the lobby, demanding access, shouting at the desk staff like they owed him something. When Jordan threatened to call the police, he left. Then, an hour later, my phone rang from an unknown number. I answered without thinking. "Lauren," my boyfriend said, voice cracking. "Please, I just need my stuff, please." His voice sounded smaller than I'd ever heard it. "Your stuff?" I repeated. "You destroyed most of it when you trashed my apartment." "I was upset," he whispered. I panicked. "You were caught," I said. "It was a mistake," he said quickly. "One mistake. We can work through this, please." "One mistake?" My voice turned sharp. "You told me not to come home. You planned the night. You brought a married woman into my bed. How long has this been going on?" Silence. I gripped the phone tighter. "How long?" His voice dropped to a whisper. 3 months. 3 months. The number landed in my stomach like poison. I laughed once, sharp and humorless. 3 months. And you still had the nerve to tell me to trust you. "Lauren, I love you," he said desperately. "Danielle meant nothing." "Then why did you destroy my apartment after her husband caught you?" I asked. "Why didn't you just leave?" "I was humiliated," he snapped suddenly, the mask slipping. "Everyone saw. Everyone in the building saw." I went still. That was it. Not remorse. Not guilt. Humiliation. "You were humiliated," I repeated slowly. "You did this to yourself." His breathing turned angry. "You sent her there! You made it public!" "No," I said, voice cold now. "You made it public the moment you chose to cheat in my home. I just made sure the truth found the people who deserve to know." "I hate you," he spat. "Good," I said. "That makes this easier." I took a breath. "Whatever of your stuff survived is boxed in the lobby. Pick it up by Friday. After that, I'm donating it." Then I hung up and blocked that number too. That Thursday, I heard through the building grapevine that Ryan had filed for divorce. Not quietly. Apparently, he'd gone to Danielle's office and confronted her in front of colleagues. And his company, according to rumor, had a morality clause. Administrative leave. Investigation. his life cracking the way mine had. Ryan messaged me again that afternoon. I heard he destroyed your apartment. I'm so sorry. I stared at the words for a long time, because he didn't owe me anything. Still, he wrote again. Not your fault. He made his choices, and so did yours. I typed back. Thank you. I'm still cleaning, still processing. His response came fast. Me too, but he's not getting away with it. And for the first time in days, I felt something that wasn't heartbreak. Not joy, not relief, but a quiet, steady certainty. Consequences were finally catching up. 2 months have passed. Long enough for the apartment to look normal again. Long enough for the shock to wear off. Long enough for the silence to settle into something I can finally breathe inside. Insurance covered most of the damage, about $3,800 of the $4,200 my boyfriend's breakdown had cost me. My premiums went up, which felt unfair, but not as unfair as the alternative. Living in a space that still looked like rage had a memory. I pursued the rest in a small claims court, not because I expected to see the money, but because principle matters. He didn't show up. Of course he didn't. His parents did once. When they came to collect the last box of his things I'd left with the building manager, they wouldn't look me in the eye. His mother muttered something about stress and bad decisions. His father said nothing at all. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I didn't owe them clarity when their son had spent months lying in my bed. The neighbors, however, were a different story. Apparently, what happened that night had become building lore. The smart lock logs, the wife showing up, the hallway chaos, the open door, the destruction afterward. Jordan, the building manager, told me, half amused, half impressed, that I was now the woman who didn't scream, didn't beg, and didn't lie. Mrs. Chen from 4B started bringing me cookies every Sunday. You handled it with dignity, she said the first time, pressing the container into my hands like it was an offering. I smiled politely. I wasn't sure about dignity. I just knew I refused to be the person who stayed quiet while being betrayed. Ryan and I didn't become friends, but every few weeks one of us would check in. Not long conversations, not emotional dumping, just understanding. He finalized his divorce quickly, full custody of the kids. Danielle fought it at first, but the evidence and his public unraveling made it impossible to paint himself as the stable option. Last I heard, he'd been let go from his firm. Not fired outright. Let go. A quiet ending for a man who thought discretion would protect him. As for my boyfriend, he never came back for his things. I donated everything he left behind. I heard he moved back to his parents' house in another state. His social media went private after someone shared the hallway footage in a neighborhood group chat. Mutual friends reached out. Some asked for my side. I told the truth. Most believed me. A few said I was cruel for sending the wife to the apartment. Those people are no longer in my life. Because here's the thing they didn't understand. I didn't send Ryan anywhere. I gave him the truth. What he did with it was his right. I started therapy, not because I was broken, but because betrayal leaves residue, and I refused to let it harden into something I carried forward. I started dating again, slowly. Nothing serious. Just reminders that honesty still exists, that kindness doesn't have to come with conditions, that trust can be rebuilt, brick by brick, when someone is willing to show up clean. Last week, Jordan stopped me in the hallway. You know, he said, smiling, people still talk about that night. I raised an eyebrow. Do they? Oh yeah, he laughed. Smart lock justice. It's a cautionary tale now. I thought about that as I unlocked my door, with my code. The smart lock clicked open, just like it always had. The difference was, now I understood what it really gave me. Not proof, not revenge. Clarity. When my boyfriend told me not to ask why, he was counting on me being too trusting to look, too afraid to confirm what I already felt in my gut. He thought silence would protect him. He was wrong. The truth doesn't need volume. It doesn't need theatrics. Sometimes all it needs is a timestamp and the courage to send one message that changes everything.